After being in a relationship for 3 years, Noelle Frost is faced with the reality that she was definitely the better half. Her friends, ecstatic she dropped the dead weight of a cheating boyfriend, urge her to get away for the holiday and take some time for herself. Not sure if that'll fix anything, but willing to try, she books a last minute trip to the world renowned Mistletoe Mountain Resort. Noelle boards the plane with the promise of peace and relaxation on the horizon. Snow King is stuck in a rut, believing himself undeserving of joy and pleasure after suffering more than one devastating loss, one he still shoulders the blame for. Even with supportive family and friends, he still prefers solitude. Every year, instead of trudging through the painful memories Christmas brings, he takes a solo trip to escape the holiday cheer. Typically, that's anywhere that doesn't remind him of the season. But this year, his well meaning assistant books him a trip to the North Pole reincarnate. An overbooking incident, one disrobed guest, and a nasty run in with pepper spray tells a Christmas story in a way that you won't believe. Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back to the Bibliophile's Bookcase. I'm your host, Erica the Bibliophile, and today we are here for Snow King Catches His Snowflake by A.E. Valdez. And this is, what is it? A Three Kings novel. Oh, so that means the brothers have their own story or are getting their own story. I want to read that. Oh, but okay, sorry. Because this is my first time reading A.E. Valdez, and this was great. I loved it. It's a short story that'll get you in the holiday spirit for what do you call it? Like that soft, easy life, love, quick romance that I love. I adored this book so much. So kudos to her. I'm definitely going to be looking into more of her work. But let's jump into this story. So we have Noelle who is kicking her boyfriend out of her apartment. He's moving all his stuff and he's apologizing. And she's like, I'll never forgive you. And you're only sorry because you got caught instead of actually being sorry for your actions. And, he's trying to talk to her, but she really doesn't want to hear it. It's like, please just take your things and get out of my place. And it's hurtful. It's just like, even though the relationship wasn't really going anywhere, wasn't really about nothing, it's just like, damn, I was comfortable with you and you did this to me. So, she goes to her sister and her sister's name is Aspen and she has a friend like best friend Eve. And they give her comfort and tell her, that nigga was a bum anyway. Don't really worry about it. I'm glad you finally dropped his ass. It is what it is. And you know what you need? You need to go on a vacation. Don't let this get you down. Go enjoy yourself somewhere. And at first she's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But they talk her into it. But also, like before she goes on the trip, she goes out to a bar and she sees her ex. What was his name? Malcolm. She sees Malcolm there. And he's like staring her down. But there's a guy at the bar who's like, you want to make him jealous or, you want to take your mind off of him, kiss me. And so they share a kiss. And she didn't feel any sparks or anything, but, it helped her out in the situation. It's like your ex looking, show that nigga that you ain't worried about him and move on to the next. Then we're introduced to Snow King. So we have Snow, his brother North, and then I think Snow is the youngest, then North is the middle child, and Winter is the oldest. They uh they run a toy company together. Their father, he created it and he died. And after the dad died, Winter, as the oldest, he was supposed to take over, but he like fell apart. And I think North never really wanted to, like run it. He wanted to be a part of the company, but not run it. So I just left Snow. So Snow had to pull himself together and take over the reins after their father died. And their mom, I believe their mom just, she travels the world now and she moved. But Snow had a fiance who, like, he was driving, she didn't have on her seatbelt, and they got into a car accident and she died from the car accident. So he's been carrying that guilt and like dead weight on him. And he's really like closed off from everybody. He's just all about work and let that be that. Um so he usually, to get away from cold weather and snow, because you know that is what caused the accident, he goes somewhere tropical and somewhere nice. But this year, his assistant, Wilder, books him a trip to the cabins, and it's been set in motion for a while now. Uh, so the cabin that he's going to, Noelle is also going to that same cabin. So you know, she gets there. She's taking a shower, she's relaxing, and it's just like, you know, I'm gonna have fun this trip. But when she gets out the shower, it's to be greeted by a man she doesn't know. Of course, that man is Snow. So she's screaming at the top of her lungs. I mean, which you can't blame her, because it's just like, who are you and where the fuck did you come from? And he's dressed in all black. Like, this man don't have no color or nothing in his wardrobe. So to get out the shower where you just knew you was alone, to come out to a tall, big man dressed in all black, I'd be screaming too. So she has pepper spray. She grabs some pepper spray and she sprays him in his eyes. And he's like, you know, what are you doing? This is my cabin. You shouldn't even be here. So she gets dressed. And then she also helps him, like, you know, go to the sink and rinse his eyes out. And so they go to the receptionist desk to get this all straightened out. Now, the company over not overbooked, double booked, because where Snow's assistant booked straight through them, uh what is her name? Lord, why am I drawing a blank? Noelle, she booked through a third party site. So that's how it got double booked. So technically the room is Snow's, but he's not gonna kick her out. So at first, Noelle was like, you know, I'm gonna get my stuff. And she's just looking real sad and basically pouting. And he's like, you know what? No, you can stay with me. Don't worry about it. We're going to work it out. So in the end, the resort ends up basically paying for the whole trip. Any food that they eat is on them. You know, basically, they got a free trip because of the double booking. And Snow and Noelle, like, they get to talk and they're spending time together, and she's bringing him out of his shell, because you know she's bubbly, she's nice, and he's attracted to that, and he hasn't felt that way in a while, you know, because of his fiance. So they decide, what was it? It was a gingerbread class, like a gingerbread baking class. She was gonna go by herself, but she invites him to come along, and he does. And you know, she doesn't know who he is or anything like that. She's just like, he's just a guy. So when they go to the gingerbread class, they had to design their cookies, and she makes a bet with him that whoever has the best cookie, the loser has to streak naked, like in the snow. And he's like, "Are you sure you want to do that with me?" She's like, "Yeah, you know, I'm feeling pretty confident." So they go on about the competition, and at the end, he has like this perfect cookie, and she's like, "You tricked me." He's like, "No, I asked you if you wanted to do this," and he told her that his parents were basically like Mr. and Mrs. Claus, because his dad loved Christmas. And did he tell her at that time? No, he hadn't told her yet, like who he was and what he did. But he was like, you know, I told you Christmas is a real thing. Like, I grew up on this. Like, I know how to wrap presents, all that type of shit. Like, I can do this with my eyes closed. So anyway, of course he won, because people had to like vote on which cookie they liked the best. His won. So she had to, well, she didn't have to, but you know, she kept her promise, and she went outside naked and had him take like some pictures of her. And it's just she's just making him so carefree. He's laughing a lot now. They're just having fun. And this draws an attraction, between the two. They've noticed each other, like how attractive one another is, but the more time they spend together, the more they're drawn to each other. And so they're kissing, they have sex, and it's just fun. They're vibing. He went out and bought the matching pajamas. He got her a beautiful diamond necklace where there's charms on it, which is snowflakes, and that's what he calls her. He calls her Snowflake. Um and they've been taking pictures together like over this trip. So she went and got those pictures. She printed them out and put them in a picture frame. And he's like, thank you so much for this. I'll treasure this forever. Um, I have something to take back with me, when we leave here. Oh, I forgot that because he has a friend, Brielle. Brielle was best friends with his fiance, but they were all friends. And so Brielle and her man, they have a place that they opened, which was so crazy. But they're also at the resort, and they all have dinner together. And okay, guys, sorry, I had to stop and come back because I was talking, and my mind literally just went blank. I'm like, where was I going with that last line that I said? And I could not for the life of me think what I was trying to say. But I know that yeah, he has dinner. Well, he invites her to have dinner with Brielle and her man and all that type of stuff. And at that dinner, they find out that they're actually from the same city. So it's just like, oh wow, what's the coincidence of us meeting here, and we actually stay in the same place. So it's just like we're gonna see each other possibly after this. But still they're having a good time, all that type of stuff. So when it's over, like when it's time to leave, he asks her to fly back with him on his private jet. And she's like, yeah, because she didn't want to leave him anyway. But yeah, so they get back and they go to his place. And she stays with him. He shows her his library. They have sex again. It's still like, okay, this is still a real thing. Like, we really feel each other. And I think it was, yeah, it was in the morning. She got up to go to the bathroom, and in his bathroom, it's a his and her sink setup. All of the fiance stuff is still there. So she knows the story about the fiance, and it's just like, I feel like I'm competing with a ghost and I can't do that. Like, you still have all her stuff here, and I just never know if like if you're gonna always be thinking about her and you're gonna keep this stuff here. So she wants to go home because she had planned on calling an Uber and she was just gonna leave. He's like, no, please let me take you home, because she's like, I need time to think, I need space. And he's like, sure, I'll let you have space, but this is not over. Like, I know what I want. I want you. And it's like, as soon as she leaves, that was the wake up call that he needed, because he called Brielle, like, I need you to come over right now, and I need you to help me pack this stuff up. And I guess Brielle had been telling him that, because she's like, where I'm on my way. So as they're packing the stuff up, his brothers North and Winter, they're texting him like, everything okay? Like, we ain't heard from you. You need us to come over? And he's like, no, I'm cool. Uh oh, I forgot. When Snow showed her a picture of his brothers, and she recognizes Winter as the guy that kissed her at the bar. And Snow, like, he was jealous for a little bit, but she basically explained it away like it wasn't nothing there, wasn't really nothing special about it, nothing to worry about. But I do want you to know that we did kiss. Um, but Winter had been messing with him the whole time, calling her Miss Mistletoe Mountain. And he was like, we was gonna come over and like introduce ourselves in Bogart because she done had you hidden away. Like we want to spend some time with our brother. We will pop up. And he's like, no, not right now. I don't really need that right now. I'll get up with y'all later. And so as Brielle is going through the stuff, they find the dress that she had wore the night she met him and all that type of stuff and just take a trip down memory lane. And she asks him, like, is this something that you really wanted to do? Or do you feel like you're being pressured to do so? And he's like, no, it's time for me to move on with my life. And I'm finally ready because I'm not willing to lose Noelle over being stuck in my past with my fiance or former fiance. Like she's gone, may she rest. I loved her, but I found somebody else now. So it's like, okay, cool, happy for you. And so they all make plans to meet up later at Brielle and what is his name? Ezra. Ezra is Brielle's man's name because I can't remember if they married or if they just go together. Um, but they meet up at their place, and so come to find out, wait, hold on, before we get there. So North and Aspen, like they're attracted to each other. And Noelle's friend hasn't shown up yet, so they just waiting on her. So, everybody introducing everybody, they having a good time, whoop de whoop, whatever. So then Noelle's friend Eve comes up, and her and Winter used to be engaged until Winter broke off the engagement and just walked out of her life. So it's tension for a second, and everybody, because she's just, you could tell. Do I want to call her bitter? I don't want to say bitter, but she's still upset, and you could tell because she's like, who just breaks off an engagement and walks away from somebody? So as soon as she see him, she egging him. He trying to talk to her. She don't want to talk. She ignoring him. But one thing I didn't like, because it's just like if you could tell that she not trying to talk to you, he was being petty. It's like every time she said something, he will respond to her. Like, she ain't rocking with you like that. Leave her alone. Don't say nothing to her. But at some point during the night, she dips out because she's oh no, I forgot. Uh so Noelle is gonna work for the company. She's gonna be working with Winter in the I forgot. I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, she's gonna be working with Winter and they're, the toy factory, helping him out. I think it's in the tech area, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it's tech. And as soon as Eve heard that, she said something, but it wasn't the first time she said something negative towards Noelle, but Snow called it out. He like, why do you keep doing that? And at first, Winter was a part of the conversation. So he looking at him confused, like, do what? He like, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to her. And he addresses Eve and he's like, this is not the first time that you've like talked down to Noelle, and why do you do that? And Eve at first she's stuttering, she's like, and then all she says is, I don't do that. And he's like, yes, you do. You did it this time and you did it that time. No. Noelle said that. It's like at first she's allowed this to go on, but now that Snow has called it out, she's speaking up for herself and she's like, yes, you do. But I've just let it go, but I wish you wouldn't do that. So Eve apologizes. And then after that, it's like she sneaks away. But also, this is the first time that they are seeing each other for a while, Snow and Noelle, because he's been calling her, texting her, but she hasn't been responding. So when they meet up, oh yeah, that's what it was. So like when I say agreed to meet up, I meant like Snow and his brothers, but while they're there, he happens to see he sees Aspen first and then he sees Noelle with her and then it all becomes a group thing. That's how it went. Okay, my bad. Um but they sneak away to have a conversation And, just to get things cemented, like, this is a relationship between us. You're mine, I'm yours, whoop de whoop, whatever. So then we have Snow introducing Noelle to his mom, and that's a great conversation. They get along fabulously, and she's like, you've made him into a better person, and I'll be forever grateful for that. And while they're visiting his mom, he treats her to a picnic and like book shopping and all that type of stuff, and it's just like, for somebody who loves books, like, to take them out for books and then a picnic, it's like, yes, please. So at the picnic, she's pulling stuff out of the basket, and at the very bottom is a book of the Grinch. And so she pulls it out and is like, why is this in here? Because a few times when they were first getting to know each other at the cabin, she called him a Grinch. Um, and when she opens the book, it's a pop-up book with the words "Will you marry me" on it, and he proposes to her, and she says yes. And I was like, I love this. It was so cute. I really loved it. It's what are the vibes? What am I trying to say? Like the moody person in the relationship, and then you have the bubbly person that just, they're nice and sweet and they come alive for that person. So that's their type of relationship. And I really enjoyed it. So yes, this was a Snow King, Lord. Uh what is this? Jesus. Why am I drawing a blank today? Snow King catches his snowflake. Lord, I am terrible. But I really enjoyed this book. Y'all, please go pick it up. And that is by A.E. Valdez, Valdez. As always, I will put the link in the description so you can click on that and go either buy the book, or you can read it for free with Kindle Unlimited. And as I say always, any book that I'm reading, 99.9% is from Kindle Unlimited. There are a few that I purchase or I get from those black book fairs where all the books are free for like that day or two. Anyway, peace and blessings, my beautiful people.